Welcome to the Letters Page, a podcast where we write new Scions from Sentinel Comics.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Christopher.
What's up, buddy?
Adam, what's up is we're going to write some new Scions.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
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 I'm excited for this. I don't actually have any pre-plans coming in. I've not really thought about this topic other than going, like I woke up this morning and I said out loud, oh, today's a creative process where we make new Scions. And I'm like, what? Is this some sort of weird TV show I'm living in? Where I speak to myself when I get up in the morning?
Are you in a TV show?
Now, Adam, if I were in a TV show, what would I say in response to that question?
I feel like the joke you want to do there is a product placement.
Well, on my way to the office this morning, I stopped in at Quick Trip for all my gas and road stack needs.
Mm-hmm.
And there they said
that they have new brisket tacos.
Did you hear that? Yeah. Do they?
Yeah, they got brisket tacos.
Okay, so here's the thing. We've talked before. Taco Bell, happy to do product placement?
Yeah.
Quick Trip?
Would. Yeah, I would do Quick Trip product placement also. I certainly go there enough.
I don't, because I don't put gas in my car.
Oh, I never go there for gas.
No. Oh no, the Quick Trip product placement's falling apart quickly.
No, I go to
our sponsors are not happy about this.
I go to Hy-Vee for gas because like if I buy my groceries, they give me discounts on gas.
Oh no, Hy-Vee's coming in with product placements all over the place.
No, but I go to Quick Trip all the time because of the egg rolls.
Really?
Quick Trip egg rolls are peak. If I get Chinese
I get the
somewhere,
rolling meats, but I don't get the egg rolls.
Oh no, you're missing out. Yeah.
Okay.
If I get Chinese from somewhere, I never get their egg rolls there. I go to Quick Trip separately and get the egg rolls.
All right. I genuinely have not had a Quick Trip egg roll.
And sometimes, like usually they're the same price as the rolling meats. Sometimes, like they'll spend like a month or two on sale, and they're like $1.39 each, and it's like the cheapest way to eat. Well, other than getting a bucket of garbage. But Quick Trip egg rolls are, they're so good. They're so good.
All right. Okay.
Make sure that the first time you have them, they're like fresh. They haven't been on the roller for too long or whatever. Like they should be glistening.
But that's just rolling meat.
Yeah, right.
Advice. Yeah. Well.
So there's your Quick Trip product placement.
Well, I think it's a good one. I think you did a great job.
I also like to go in there I'll get coffee there sometimes because their coffee is pretty okay, and it's
I'm not a coffee person.
Half the price of Starbucks, whatever. But a lot of the times their coffee machine is broken also. And if it's broken, I don't mind just getting something else to drink or whatever. But I'll always tell them, oh, hey, your coffee machine's broken. And they'll give me 3 or 4 free coffee coupons.
Oh no, Adam! They're gonna all the Quick Trip managerial folk that listen to this podcast are gonna be like, "Oh, we're on to you, Adam Rebitaro."
It's not a scam. Like I'm not scamming them.
You go in there, you break
actually
the coffee,
broke.
You go in there, you break the coffee machine. You've just admitted to fraud, coffee fraud.
They also do it if your food takes too long to make. So if you're getting a pizza or something, which I'll get my kids pizza from there.
From Quick Trip.
Quick Trip pizza is great also.
Man, I know so little.
Oh man. No, like almost all the food at Quick Trip is excellent.
Huh.
Yeah. It's great. But I'll get Quick Trip pizzas and I'll like sit there waiting. And if it takes too long, or if I go like at peak hours that it just takes too long, then they'll give you free drink coupons for that too. So
wow,
I just have like a stack of free drink coupons in my car.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the breakfast pizza though, that's where it's at. It's amazing.
Okay, well sometime
I'll put like gravy on it instead of sauce, instead of like pizza sauce.
So it's like a biscuits and gravy pizza.
It's a biscuits and gravy pizza. It's got gravy, it's got eggs, it's got bacon, it's got sausage.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a world.
It's great. You've been missing out.
I have been missing out. We agree.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Quick Trip breakfast pizza of topics.
What a segue. All right, Adam. Scions of OblivAeon.
Okay. All right. So What do we want to talk about? The ones that we have first, real quick.
Sure.
Just run them down.
Sure, absolutely. In no particular order. We've got Empyreon.
Okay.
So Empyreon, who is like a frequent space foe and definitely a Captain Cosmic foe before. OblivAeon grabs him up. Mega over the top empowers him. We got Mega empowered Empyreon. Good to go.
Yeah.
We got Aeon Master, which is just the biggest Aeon man who's in charge of all the Aeon mans.
Yeah.
Great. Love to see it.
It's Aeon Man extra crispy.
Southwestern Ranch style.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nixius the Chosen. Everybody loves a good Nixius the Chosen. He sucks.
A bundle of tentacles inside a cape.
Yeah. Not great interpersonal skills.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was chosen.
He was chosen.
OblivAeon was
That's right.
I choose you.
Well, right. But only because everybody else in his cheerleading squad died for the benefit of the choosing.
Yes.
Yeah. Progeny, but gold now. But gold now is in parentheses.
Progeny was a scion before, but gold also.
Right. When he was silver progeny, still a scion.
Yeah. But then it's like, oh, let's make it better.
Yeah.
Gold is better than silver. Gold is more valuable than silver.
Depends on what you're doing.
In terms of the market. You're selling it.
Okay. All right.
You're selling progeny.
Dark Mind.
Yep. Okay.
Dark Mind. That's a fun one.
Ripped from the consciousness of Visionary.
Cruelly
by Argent Adept, discarded into the vastness of space and found by a kindly OblivAeon.
That's right. Took Dark Mind under his wing.
Took pity on her.
And he's like, hey, what if we show you a good time? And now she, fighting for OblivAeon, comes to face those who would so callously disregard her. Yeah. Faultless.
Okay.
It's not his fault.
No. The ruins of an old god.
Right.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong. Sanction. Sanction's a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got all kinds of
one of two different types of robot.
Yeah. Right. What if Void Soul? Just bad feelings, bad vibes.
Right.
Bad vibes, the Scion.
But also like the remnants of a prior thing.
Right. The darkness of Writhe, but it's not to say that like Void Soul doesn't come from Writhe. Void Soul.
No, I mean for the thing that Kosh Buddha was fighting.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yes. The eating of
right.
Void stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yep. Boar the Unstable.
Previously a jobber.
Not Boar the Butcher.
Turned into a bomb.
Yeah. Boar the Butcher, space jobber. Yeah. Now a bomb. Yeah. Ansel G. Moreau's final role.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? No. Rainik Kelvas.
The big one. Yeah. OblivAeon's greatest mistake.
Right? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah. We've said so much about Voss, and so I think we're good there. But also, there's Sir not appearing in this film, which is to say, Cosmic Omnitron.
Cosmic Omnitron is one. Yeah.
Counts as a sign of OblivAeon not appearing in this film. Is not part of the OblivAeon conflict.
Right. Yes.
A version of Omnitron. There's Omnitron stuff in the OblivAeon conflict, but not as a scion of OblivAeon.
Does Infinitor count as a scion?
Oh, yeah, kinda. Yeah, kinda.
I think.
And he's around.
Yeah.
He's part of the OblivAeon conflict, just not in ways
Infinitor is like a messed up scion. It's like it didn't fully take, and it caused his mind to break. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Sever, right?
The newest kid on the block.
Cyborg alien guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Slicey. I think we're out of scions.
I think that's it. Okay.
Of Scions of OblivAeon, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
We did it.
All right. So we want to go to questions?
That's the Scions of... Yeah. Okay, good. Great. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right. So what do we need here?
Yeah. Like, that is the question is like...
We don't need any.
We're really good on Scions. We have a bunch, obviously.
But I feel like there are just like a bunch more that just show up and like maybe are part of the big conflict, maybe are not. But like,
yeah, there's definitely more Scions of OblivAeon, and especially ones that are doing things on the outskirts, out in space or out in other realities and things like that. So that's cool. Do we get into that stuff? Yeah, I mean, so like, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this.
So yeah, okay,
we've got space for more, no problem.
I feel like there's a few niches that we should touch on.
Yeah.
I feel like La Commodora and the Chrono Ranger should fight one out of this reality.
Oh, sure.
Like
this is a great way. This is Adam, you're correct. The way to do this. So when we're doing creative processes, frequently we're like, if we're doing foes or if we're doing supporting cast, we'll look at different eras of the character in question. And this is all in the same era. This is all right here in 1 to maybe 1.5 years of time. Like Sever is a Scion that shows up earlier, and we could maybe make up 1 or 2 of those. But yeah, the question is, what foes are being fought in certain books? And so yeah, La Commodora and Chrono Ranger. Although Chrono Ranger pretty quickly transfers over to main time stuff and does a different thing. But yeah.
But a Desperation, there should be a Scion fought in one of those things.
So we need a Desperation Scion. That's great.
Yeah.
Do we want to go down that road or do we want to kind of make a menu of Scions?
Let's make a menu first.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So what are some other things? We have, I feel like with Empyreon, actually with a lot of these, there's space for Nixius, there's space for Boar. I was gonna say that I think that we've got plenty of Scions to throw at Cosmic Tales.
Yeah.
You know what we don't? Oh, you know what book is going on right now that we don't have a Scion for? I feel like. Sanction would also work well for Cosmic Tales. Arcane Tales. Arcane Tales is going strong right now.
What Scion does Ra fight?
We just wrapped up the Skinwalker Gloomweaver stuff, and then we get. Over here, where do we get? Yeah, so in June of 2016, we get the Death of Ra, but and that happens mostly in the Prime Wardens book. But Arcane Tales, right? It also happens in Arcane Tales, right? Ra going to Anubis, yeah, and then but before that, we definitely have space for Ra. Lifeline's also doing stuff in this book at this time. Anyway, we got a bunch of space in the lead up to Oblivion time for Ra, even space for Ra and Fnatic to fight a Scion.
That's fine.
So Ra and Fnatic fight a Scion, and as a result of that, Fnatic goes to do something with the Prime Wardens. Ra goes to do the Ennead stuff, and they're like, this has convinced us. So yeah, let's put in like a 2 or 3 part story in Arcane Tales about Ra and Fnatic fighting a Scion that then leads to going and doing the Death of Ra stuff.
Great, yeah.
We know that Fnatic in Prime Wardens 58 fights a bunch of Aeon men. Empyreon shows up in the Prime Wardens book. So this is under Prime Wardens story, but we know that. This is...
Aeon men can be anywhere. Like you could just sprinkle Aeon men around any Scion, like a seasoning.
Absolutely, that's correct. Now, I'm not wanting to writer's room these, not by a long shot.
No.
But I want to create the Scion that then if someone's like, hey, tell us that story of Ron Fnatic versus Cheese Bob McGee. It's probably not it.
Yeah.
We hope.
I've told enough stories about Cheese Bob McGee for my lifetime. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got space between, because we're dealing with the Drunken Sailor, Black Spot stuff in this era, but we definitely have space in here for a Scion. All right, I love it. A Desperation one for Commodore and Chrono Ranger that fits perfectly in there. An Arcane Tales one for Ron Fnatic. Fantastic. One more?
Yeah.
Things come in threes. Bad things come in threes today.
We usually just do 3 things for these creative processes.
We usually do just 3 things because that's about the right amount of time, too.
It is, yeah.
Newest Legacy is an option.
Okay.
I think Tome of the Bazaar is going to step too much on Arcane Tales. Although we could do, there's other people we could do it with.
Tome of the Bazaar, is Tome of the Bazaar Naturalist Akash 3 is still here, or
no, because remember that ends entirely, and then a new volume starts that is Grimm's book, and it's Grimm's book right up until the end of 2014, and then with 2015, the book goes to being just Tome of the Bizarre.
I don't think we use Dark Watch. We have a story like very focused on on
the Faultless story,
and
beyond the Faultless story. I think Dark Watch are good on Scions, and I think Freedom 5 is good on Scions.
We could do like if we want to get
Prime Warden is as well.
If we want to get real weird, we could do something with Alpha has a book right now.
She does. That is true.
We could do a Scion in there. We could even bring in Dark Strife and Painstake to that.
That would make perfect sense
if we wanted.
Yeah.
We could make a Hell Scion for that or something like.
Yep.
What's the horror? So then we have like alternate reality Scion. We have magic Scion. We have horror Scion.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
Okay, so we've got a Dispiration Scion for Locomoda and Chrono Ranger. We've got an Arcane Tail Scion for Ron Fanatic, and we've got an Alpha the Wolfwoman Scion for Alpha and Darkstrife and Painstake.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the next question is, when we built the Scions, Adam, remember back to over a decade ago.
Yeah.
When we were first building the Scions.
Yeah.
And we were like, hey, let's hit a bunch of different kinds of archetypes.
Sure.
What didn't we do?
So I have an image for the Desperation one in my head. I was going to save it, there. But this is what I have.
Do you want to do it last? Do you want to save it and do it last? We can do it third.
We can do I don't have ideas for the other ones right now, and
that's fine. If you have an image for Desperation, but you want to save it, it feels like it feels like some sort of big reveal for you. The way you said that makes me feel like you got something. So let's put a pin in that, and let's start with let's start with the like easy team. Go to the weird team. Wrap up with Adam's big reveal.
Okay.
No pressure.
Great.
So. Start
Which
with
is Ron. The easy team. Okay, yeah, all right.
Ron Fanatic.
Okay.
Because we need a Scion for them to fight that then makes them go, oh, this is a big deal. We have to go take care of this. The Scion has to fit in Arcane Tales. So I think the Scion is just like a creature of mythology. Because that's what you do with Arcane Tales with Ron Fanatic. Ron Fanatic are mythology characters. Mm-hmm. They are the epitome of the myths and legends around whatever theology they come
from. Let's pull something from Revelation. Like,
I was gonna no. I don't think so. You don't pull something from.
You don't pull something from either of their mythology.
You don't pull it. No. Because you need to pull something that's like this is the end of both of your mythology.
That was where I went to initially. Yeah, okay. I was trying to target her belief a little bit. With it, but
no,
there's plenty of room in her own books for there to be Revelation creatures. That's
right.
Yeah.
And that adds to her this Revelation creatures go, see, I'm right.
Yeah.
This is something that's like, no, this cannot be. This is Elder God stuff, right?
Okay.
Like if Ztsulish didn't exist, you put Ztsulish here.
Right.
But you don't, because Ztsulish comes later and is a different thing.
You have like a Yog-Sothoth type thing.
This is where we are,
right?
Where you have something that Ra looks at and goes, this doesn't fit in any of the stories.
Right.
And Fanatic looks at and goes, this definitely can't exist. This shouldn't be right. So we need to make up, we just need to casually make up an Elder God. And the story for this, before we figure out the look and the feel of it, but the story for this is there's some reality that has some sort of titanic, chthonic beings.
So what if instead of pulling it from another reality, this is a dead god from this reality that's reanimated?
Sure.
Since we're doing another reality with Desperation, at least.
Sure. I mean, a lot of these, many Scions, if not most Scions, are from some other reality.
So if you have zombie Cthulhu here,
right, but certainly this is a very removed. This isn't like it's like Gloomweaver who's still around right now. It's like no.
Yeah,
this is something that even the people who are characters like Ra and Fanatic of myth and legend, who are like, we have seen it all, we believe it all, but nobody thinks that this is true. Like if this were a book about Blood Countess, this would be Dracula,
right?
Where it's the thing that you're like, no, but no one believes in that. So this is just Cthulhu, right?
Yeah, can we mesh some of these together a little bit to make that
right?
So like maybe start with like maybe have forms and go with like the king in yellow sort of appearance first and have it transform into the like
right. Now I don't think they should all be Lovecraftian though, is the trick.
No, but like that I'm saying archetypally.
Right. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. What does Sumeria have? Let's look at that.
Okay. Adam, I think I got it.
Okay.
Sumeria, yes, but also ancient Syria. I think we just do Dagon.
Okay. All right.
Because that pulls from Cthulhu mythos. It pulls from ancient Syria, Sumerian. There's a bunch of different Dagon. So like
that's what the Fishman, right?
Well, it depends. That's the trick, you see. There's so many different versions of it.
But so you could start with the Fishman and have him evolve into other things and like
pre-Semitic language. That's cool. Yeah, fish is right. So the association with the Hebrew word for fish in medieval exegesis led to an incorrect interpretation of Dagon as a fish god.
Okay.
So that's great. We that's incorrect. But so we have this ancient human god, and we're like, okay, well, sure, but everything that we know about it is like, not really right. There's a lot of different interpretations and a lot of misinterpretations. And then you mix this with various, like, because there's Dagan, which is the ancient Syrian version, probably. But then you also have Dagon,
right,
which was both a Lovecraft book and also a book in the 60s by Fred Chappell about like it's a psychological thriller sort of thing, Lovecraft type stuff, but different. Yeah. So like there's a couple of different swings at it. Right, that's where you get Dagon, the fish god, but that's not correct. There's the Phoenician Philistine. Okay, so anyway, the point is, this thing isn't any of these things, right? Or rather, it's all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fertility god, there's languages, there's places.
Looks like Selkies come from Dagon also.
Well, in some mythology, but again, Dagon being a fish-related thing is an incorrect interpretation, which is great for us.
Yeah.
Like, leaning into incorrect interpretations in this case is how you walk that line. Got a bunch of cool cults.
Yeah, it's like Selkies are much later mythos than this in terms of humanity. Like it would be wrong by then.
There's so many like other pop culture things and video game things that use different spellings of this for different things entirely. Yeah. That searching it is like, and here's a fandom wiki about how to defeat this boss. And it's like, nope, that's not helpful. The name later gets used as part of the Abrahamic pantheon as a demon in hell. Now, my only concern with this, Adam, I think we should change our plans slightly.
Okay.
Maybe. This makes me feel like we might want to haul Darkstrife and Painstake over for this. But I don't super want to muddy the Ron fanatic waters.
I think
but this is doing ancient demon god thing.
But I think that we want to do something specifically eternal as the Darkstrife Painstake.
I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case.
I think that I think it would be cool to have a Scion from Eternus.
Interesting. Okay, let's put a pin in that and come back to it.
Okay.
Because I was thinking that we'd want this to be more, I think we want this to be a bit more alpha focused than Darkstrife and Painstake focused. I don't think. Okay. We'll come back to that. Okay. All right. How do we make our own Dagon seeming thing that pulls on these myths and legends and points to it without being either just the thing on the nose, or the two like serial numbers filed off? Like we need to have our own swing at it.
Sure. Okay, so I mean, I like first presenting Dagon as like, hey, no, I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just an ancient king, and you guys should serve me. Because like just seeming humanoid at first. Because all the things that I'm seeing with Dagon, like all the images are like giant fishman or half fishman or like, gaping maw, lots of teeth. Like, so like, I think it would be good to go like, all right, here's this Syrian king that is just like, he just looks like but then like, there's more to him secretly to just like initially present. I like, we're in drastic danger of writers rooming this, but
yeah, we are. So is this, you want to do an ancient Assyrian king who actually is not, who's like, I don't know. I don't, it's a weird thing for OblivAeon to pull. Not that that there's such a thing as a normal thing, but like, I think I want something that feels less of this world than some guy. And here's why. I think I want something that the point of this Scion is for OblivAeon to point at it and for it to point at itself and be like, see, all the stories you make up are all made up. Everything you believe is a lie. Because everything you believe is a lie is the most powerful thing you can say to both Ra and Fanatic. And so saying, oh, here's just some guy, I think it has to be, no, this is never a guy or a man or anything. This is pure mind-bending monster.
Okay. Okay, I think that we need to get away from Dagon then.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's just too too earthly.
Yep.
And go more towards go more towards Yog-Sothoth.
Yeah. Or like maybe like the Gathanothoa direction.
Yeah, but like there's just this unknown writhing mass of tentacles. Massive tentacles.
Math of tentacles.
It's a math of tentacles. That's the plural of tentacle is a math.
Right. You have because you need advanced mathematics to be able to calculate how many tentacles there are.
Okay. So like the thing with these though is that they are unspeakably powerful. Mm-hmm. How do we have Ra and Fanatic confront this?
I mean, I think that the thing you do with this is you have it show up, you have it speak into their minds and be like, everything you believe is a lie. Mm-hmm. They fight it. They burn it with all of their fire and blast it with all of their radiant energy. It laughs at them. They are almost destroyed by it. And at the last moment, it goes, my master calls, bye. It leaves and they go, oh no. And this is the thing that sparks them. We don't have to win.
Okay.
You don't have to defeat this. The point of this thing is for it to show up and be like,
this is awful.
Things are worse than they've ever been before.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have to writer's room this. There's writer's room that can be done here.
Okay.
But the point of this thing is to make them doubt.
We need to name it.
Yep. I mean, so we could just do something. Do we want to have a challenging to pronounce weird name?
Mm-hmm. We could do that, or we could just like have it say like my name is unpronounceable, but to you I'm the end, or I am that which is, or like something weird like that, like something very simple. So this was just something asleep and OblivAeon woke it up. Or
OblivAeon made it. I like the idea that this is that OblivAeon like listened to all the like absorbed all the myths and legends of all of the sentient beings and was like, you sure like making up stories to explain your reality. I'll create something that answers everything, but also like points to how all of these myths are just lies that you tell yourself to make yourself feel better.
Is there something in the realm of like the egg of the cosmos or something that it can be like that if OblivAeon is going like, this is what I'm going to be like. This is everything, you know.
I don't love Egg of the Cosmos. I get where you're going.
not that, but
yeah,
I do think it's a little funny for it to be called the egg of something and have it not look like an egg at all.
I'd rather be like the spore of the cosmos. Egg is a little bit too normal wordy.
Sure. Okay.
Like,
I mean, can we just call it the spore? Like, so be like, my name is unpronounceable, but like. I am like.
How do you feel about this name that I put in the show note doc?
I don't like the beginning of it.
Okay. What kind of sounds do you like for a beginning of it? Because this is obviously.
So like all of these kind of roll off the tongue, even though they're like weird. and unpronounceable. It's like once you know how to, you're like, oh, I kind of like saying it.
Oh, so for me, this one I like works in my head, but that's okay.
Yeah, the Tay and Guy right next to each other is rough. I mean, that might be enough right there, actually. If the middle part is 2 syllables.
Yeah, I just did that, but differently.
I don't like the X there.
Okay.
It's causing you to stop.
It is a stop to make it 4 syllables.
No, I don't think you need a consonant though to make it 4 syllables because you're having 2 hard consonants right next to each other, and that was. Yeah. Do you like that?
I actually like getting rid of the punctuation in the middle here, so it's just this giant pile of vowels that doesn't seem like it should be pronounceable.
Mm-hmm. Can you get an O in there? Or I'm joking. You got
they're in order. And the pronunciation still works.
Yeah, it does.
That's dumb.
It's cute in the way that comics are.
Well, that makes me want to do something like this.
I like it better the other way, but
okay. That makes me want to not have the O here.
Sure, that's fine. All right.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. This or this? This or this? This or this?
I think option 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have Sagayadath, the truth behind all lies, and Sagayadath is this like this created being that OblivAeon is like, I've brought all of the myths and legends to life in one thing that is a paradox into itself because these all disagree with each other, and it happens to be all of them and none of them, and it is a being of mind-breaking.
Does OblivAeon create it now, or does he create it billions of years in the past and allow it to mature?
Right. No, he now creates it forever ago.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And have it be always have been part of human history, giving truth to all of the myths and legends while also making them all falsehoods.
Great.
I do like a lot of the. I know you mentioned Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth is pretty good. I do like the Gethanathoa direction.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty cool. I think that. Do you have it just eating also? Like
no, I think it's unmaking. I think that when things interact with it, it's like eating because it destroys things. But I think that it's that when things interact with it, is like, oh no, like the stories that people told to make this come to being one way or another are unmade by the existence of this.
Okay. Grim Nemesis.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Great. So we have Sagayadath shows up in the Arcane Tales thing, and someday we can tell that story if you want.
So like I was half joking about Grim Nemesis. Do we want to put Rambler
Grim's gone by here
in this story? Do we want to put Rambler in this story also?
Rambler can extract them. Rambler can Deus Ex Machina save Ron Fanatic.
Yeah, but also someone who has more knowledge about this type of thing than either of them would, because they're both just like, rah, I'm gonna attack things.
Well, and both of them are like, oh no, the thing I believe is unshakable.
Yeah,
and Rambler's like, oh, that's your first mistake, believing. Like Rambler's like this. I deal with 10 things a day, none of which I believe in. You know. Yeah. Stop writers rooming it.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Well, we can writers room this if you request it, but
right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's late Arcane Tales Sagayadath story.
Great.
Sogaeiudoth Sagayadath. Obviously, I don't know why I had to spell that out loud.
Right. I think everyone knew.
Yeah, I think
instinctively, because it has always been and always will be.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the idea of OblivAeon creating something now that has always been.
Mm-hmm. So I think that the Eternus one is made a scion in the little bit more of the traditional manner of OblivAeon gave someone some power.
Yeah, I
think both of the other ones kind of are. But
sure. So with the Alpha one, you keep saying the Eternus one. I don't know that I want an Eternus one. I wanted something that's more Alpha than Darkseid from Painstaking.
Okay.
But
do you have an idea like of what an Alpha one would look like?
Right. So, given that Alpha is the werewolf, you take a not Yeti, but a Yeti. You take something else like another werewolf type thing and elevate it to a Scion.
Okay.
I wonder if there's something in between the two, because I don't super love taking.
Okay.
Because the thing to do if you're going to do a Dark Strife and Pain Stick one is you take one of the various princes and make them a Scion.
Right. Okay.
And then you have them have a bad time as a result of this and get destroyed or something, and then thus have a new prince of whatever their aspect was before.
Okay.
So I could see elevating one of the various princes to the level of being a Scion. This might just be two different stories is the problem.
Well, I mean, I was thinking...
The thing is, I don't have a problem with that story. I just don't think it's an alpha story.
Okay. I don't know that there's room for both in this era.
I mean, there definitely is in the various books we have. I mean,
okay,
for sure there is. We could do the Dark Strife and Pain Stake fight an Eternal Prince as a Scion.
I would want to add something. I would want to add something new, or someone that ends up like that uses the OblivAeon power to
take the throne.
To take the throne, yeah, and then like can give it up after, but we replace a prince that way instead of with a new character instead of having one prince.
I dislike that. Here's why I dislike that. Part of the Scions is you look at them and you go, oh, I see how this is the stuff that like the Scions are all payoffs in various ways, or should be.
I don't think all of them are, but
no, not all of them are, but the ones that people like the most, the ones that are the most successful are ones like that. And so rather than making up a new Eternal Prince, fine, you can do that, but you're better off taking an Eternal Prince, elevating him to Scion, and having this be their last hurrah. Like that's a story that will connect better.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. We could just say that happens then, and if someone wants a writer's room about that, then we could do that. Like, I don't think that's what we should take up a slot with creating that. I think that we should focus on the alpha one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm fine with all of that. I think it doesn't take up much of a slot to do this, because we could just say, okay, hold on. Dark Strife and Pain Stake.
Well, I think that the reason I think it takes up a slot is because I think that is a writer's room.
Yes, I agree. So what I'm just doing is this, so we don't, because we know where it would be.
Oh, okay.
Like I agree, we've already done the work. So let's take record of it so that if we ever address it in the future, we're not like, oh, we're start from scratch. And it'd be here, so, or there, or there, or there. We could do it pretty late, but I think that's too late. So I'll do it here. Okay, great. And that's all. We know that in Tome of the Bazaar in 2015/2016, Dark Strife and Pain Stake fight an Eternal Prince who's been elevated to be a Scion, and there are ramifications to that.
Great.
Totally fine. Great. Alpha. Somewhere in 2015/2016, Alpha, and probably somebody else, but I'm not sure who, because Dark Strife and Pain Stake are probably busy, and Rambler we just pulled over there. Like, who else gets pulled into the story? I guess it depends on what kind of...
It might not be anyone else. Like, this might just be a solo story also.
It very easily could be. She is a very frequently solo character.
Yeah.
But the problem is with Scions is like, Scions are not solo threats. Okay, what have we not done? A Hydra? No, we've done a Hydra.
Well, so I was looking at werewolf-like creatures and like different myths of werewolves.
Like very like skinwalker type stuff?
Yeah. And so there's like skinwalkers, there's like Kitsune, there's Rougarou, etc.
That's true. That's true.
But I was looking at berserkers, and that like Norse berserkers often were described as channeling bears or wolves.
Yeah.
And like we could do like something that someone does channel a wolf spirit, and then like the upgrade, the OblivAeon upgrade allows like the full transformation into like a wolf.
Yeah, we have the
sort of
right, but we have the big werewolf of legend wolf monster thing, right?
Okay, but like, well, I mean, I was looking for like a different thing that's specifically related to Alpha, but
because we already have the big scary wolf monster guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we're not.
This one's bigger.
Right. Yeah. Yes, we can do that. Boy, am I not jazzed about that.
Sure.
Like, yeah, because we have the direwolf is essentially what that is. Because we could take, like, if we're going to do that thing you're deciding, what we do is we just take the direwolf and be like, oh, and now that thing is a legend. That thing is a Scion.
We can do a Wendigo, a Chupacabra.
I'm not against this this shifter thing idea you had though.
Okay.
I just don't think it should be a wolf. I don't think that.
I mean, like going off of Wendigo a little bit, it could be more bear-like.
Yes,
like
I'm fine with bear as the direction.
Okay, but it also could like be a little bit more like man underneath. Like he's got like man chest and bear arms. His bear arms.
I mean, if you want to, we can just he has the right to bear arms.
Yes.
And you mentioned the Norse stuff before. If you want to, we can just do it as we could just do Bodvar Bjarki.
Bodvar Bjarki. What's
Bodvar Bjarki? Bodvar Bjarki is from Norse mythology. It is a Old Norse hero who was cursed by a witch that made him a bear by day and a man by night.
Oh, that's cool.
It would be Bodvar Bjarki. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Like some people think it's the same story as Beowulf.
It's not the same. It's not the same story as Beowulf.
Some people think that.
It's not the same story as Beowulf.
Others accept kinship between the two.
Sure, maybe, but like he has his own poem. It's a different poem.
Yeah, no, I know some people think that they were originally the same personage before either of the poems were written.
I think it's mythical person in any direction, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, but we could just use Bodvar and be like,
that's cool.
And be like, I was the first shifter before werewolves, before any of these things, and then OblivAeon brings him forward to be like, you fight for me, Bodvar.
Yeah. And like being like, oh, I hate how my transformation works, and OblivAeon being like, well, you can do it at will now. Isn't that great? Like,
well, yeah, right. You are now, yeah.
Or you are now, you don't transform anymore. You're just this new thing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
right,
you do the hybrid form and be like, no, you are something more than man, more than bear.
Yeah.
So I think that I believe Bodvar's father's name was Bjorn. Yeah, Bjorn, which means bear. I was trying to give him a different name, but just taking Bodvar and making it Bjornvar is not very. It's not right. It's not interesting.
I don't think that we need to give him a different name. Is like probably an obscure enough myth that like, and it's old enough that it's like
fair enough. It's one that I'm familiar with, but that's
But you have like unique knowledge in that area. Like
I wouldn't say unique, but
well,
yes,
not you. I mean, in terms of most people, like
it's not what the word unique means.
Wow.
What about?
All right, exceptional. No, is that better?
What about calling him? What about like? Okay, Bjordvar is his name, right?
Yeah,
sure. But what about his like scion name being Bjornsson?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Which is like also his name. Yeah. Is his title is like he is son of Bjorn, but also Bjornsson being like I am the child of the bear.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Whenever I'm doing Norse stuff, it always feels like but that's just fine, I guess. But it's because it's just like. It's like if you're like, oh, and then what if you call the guy who makes the train go the conductor, and people are like, oh, the conductor, like it's just the name of the guy that does it. It's just the name of it.
No, but like most other language words sound way cooler to English people.
And the nice thing with Bjornsson is you get the O with the slash through it.
Yeah.
So
that's neat.
You go
okay,
Bjornsson like that. I put it in the doc.
So yeah, and then what does OblivAeon have him doing?
Fighting.
Just fighting.
Just fighting. Just fighting. He uses him as like a shock troop sort of thing. It's like, hey, there's a situation where something just needs to charge in and make do damage, destroy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so not all scions are big plot stuff. Some scions are
just like do some
lieutenants.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. I like that one. Okay.
Great.
Are you ready for my idea?
Yeah. It's time.
I just have this image.
Okay. In your head?
In my head from the beginning.
Okay.
Of a shark that chews through realities.
That's great. Let's have a shark that eats reality.
That, like, I don't know if this is just a shark or if this is like an Animalverse thing or if it's...
No, I think this is like this is not it, but like the Aeon shark or something.
Right. But like that they confront it outside of realities. It's just this massive shark that's just like chewing them up. like going.
Well, and it's not. It doesn't devour realities. That's too easy.
No,
it takes bites out of realities, and that's a problem.
Right. It's like in Little Mermaid, where the shark's just biting through the ship and trying to eat towards it. It's just like biting things and just crushing them. And
No,
it's an animalistic force of chaos.
The shark that bites reality, right? The shark of it is just the method by which it's biting realities,
right?
The shark part's not the important part,
right?
Like, it's the look of it, but
well, to me, that's the important part,
right? For sure, but like that's not you don't look at it, you're like, oh well, this was a shark from Earth that just got bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like, no, that's not it.
No, this is a force that has taken the form of a shark. That is.
Oh, this is dumb, Adam. This is real dumb, but we can.
Is it dumb in a fun way?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can pull on the Laser Rider shark.
Could pull on the Laser Rider shark
because that's adjacent to this stuff.
True.
And so it's like in universe, it's a nod to that since there's already nods back and forth to them. And I don't know if you remember the way the Laser Rider shark looks, but it's pretty spot on to what you're describing.
It's cool. Yeah. I'm thinking like way bigger, but
well, yeah. But you say like, that is the shark that
it started as,
right? And then this is the super final space cosmic Scion of Oblivion evolution of this thing.
Yeah,
here I have the image for you of the laser shark.
Yeah,
so you use that as a jumping off point.
Yeah, I'm picturing like the reveal of this also being like, have you seen The Meg?
No.
Okay, those movies are great. They're stupid, but they're great. But like seeing the boat from above and then the giant like shark underneath just like just swim past and you're just like, oh dang. And so like the Paradilha Magnifica is like the size of its eye, basically, or like
sure.
It could just be eaten in one bite. It's also convenient because there don't have to be alternate reality versions of this. It's just like it's something that OblivAeon sets loose into the time stream and is going between realities and destroying them. Like this is like the first exclusively outside of reality thing that we have, kind of,
Yeah. We have so many sharks in Sentinel Comics.
We do?
Yeah, we got Card Shark, got Karger Warfang. Now we got this shark. It's a lot.
It's only 3 sharks.
It's a lot of sharks.
No,
there's also the shark that Guys rides.
Okay. A normal shark. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could picture a lot more sharks.
Sure, but like the fact that there's 3 like notable named important shark characters. You know what a group of sharks is called?
Awesome.
A cuterie.
Oh.
A shark cuterie.
Oh, boo.
Like that at first you're like, oh. No, wait.
No, it's
no, it's not.
Ridiculous.
So this is enough of a look.
Shiver.
You want to call it Shiver?
No, that's what a group of sharks is, though.
Oh, really? A shiver of sharks?
Yeah.
That's delightful.
Yeah, that's really good.
What if we call this thing Shiver? It's too close to Sever.
Yeah.
We already have a Scion named Sever. I don't want to have Scions Sever and Shiver. Dang it, that would have worked too.
Yeah. What if it is called the Cosmic Shark?
Yeah, nailing it. I mean, that's what its name is. It's a cosmic shark, blah, blah, blah. Cosmic shark bites realities. Okay? Its name is Frenzy.
Oh, yeah.
Its name is Frenzy. You've got occasional, you have ones with weirdo made up names and you have ones with like their own like name. This is a word name. It's Frenzy. Yeah. Because of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
Right.
Yep.
There. Great. Done.
Right.
So we have Desperation Story.
Giant, scary, destructive. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we can actually even see this earlier than this too. Like
Yes, for sure we could.
This is one that they could come across multiple times throughout the Desperation series.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, well, it's out there. Oh, no.
It could happen, Adam.
This is something that I could see someone creating without a plan and then someone retconning it into a Scion.
Yeah, it could happen anytime 2013 to 2016.
Great.
It couldn't show up earlier than 2013 in terms of making sense for dealing with. You could have space sharks before that. and then this be its own thing.
But like, a giant shark chewing on realities is something that doesn't need OblivAeon to be cool.
Right, for sure.
And then like once you have OblivAeon going on, then it becomes
a Scion.
This was always this way. Yeah.
Right. And its name can be Frenzy forever. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Cool.
So we did 3.5, kind of, because we hinted at the Dark Side from Painstick one. So great.
Good stuff.
You want to take some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
All right, today's first question comes from Fragarak, who writes, "Hail, writers. You're really setting yourself up for a resurgence of OblivAeon letters. Don't worry. I won't pester you about Sentinel comics on your deathbed. My friend can probably just speak to your ghost once you die."
Oh, great.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Yes.
Anyway, I was wondering, the Scions sent to alternate realities instead of the main timeline probably reflect those universes, as it would make sense for them to counter certain aspects of those timelines. Oh, I don't know that I agree. I don't know that you send, like, an animal Scion to the Animalverse, right? Like,
No, I don't think
because I think the cool thing about Scions is sending something out of place, is having something that's like, oh, this doesn't belong here.
I mean, yes, but most of the Scions that are fought are from the universe, for Universe 1. Like,
yeah, but barely. Not most, like an overwhelming majority of them.
Once that opens up, like once Nightmist does her thing, like that becomes a lot more. There's a lot more crossover with that.
Sure.
I think,
but Nixius isn't from this reality. Darkmind isn't from this reality. Aeon Master isn't specifically from this reality. It's from just OblivAeon stuff as his progeny. Faultless is from multiple realities. The ones that are from this reality.
I think that like it's kind of splitting hairs that saying something like Darkmind is not from this reality because she's been in this reality for
sure, but she's
50 years. So like this is someone that was turned into a Scion in this reality, and is what I'm saying, that like most of the Scions that you fight are turned into Scions in this reality.
Okay. I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Okay. So I would still say from this reality for that.
All of the Scions are necessarily multiversal.
Yeah. But
once you've been made a Scion of OblivAeon, you have an amount of OblivAeons. You go various places in various universes.
Yeah, well, I don't think like what I'm saying is I don't think that precludes Animalverse Scions being used in the Animalverse. But like,
sure. I don't. Yes, I
don't
agree.
think it's that organized. Is the answer to this question? Is like
this is right. It's not that you specifically send a Scion from a reality to fight that reality. It's that OblivAeon grabs a thing, makes it a Scion, and then sends it somewhere.
Yeah,
it may be the place that it came from. It may be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, here we go. Were the Scions? This is a series of questions. Were the Scions sent to the Animalverse primarily humanoid or more animal-like? Was there a Scion of human / blight or an industrialization?
There's not Scions of things. It's not like they're not like singular
entities. Right. Yeah. But do we see Scions fighting in the Animalverse? Like, it depends on if you want to do the goofy thing or the serious thing. Because if you're doing the goofy thing, you have like a giant man, like a giant hairless man in a loincloth, like stomping around the Animalverse, and they'll be like, "What is this monster?"
Yeah,
like you could do that as a goof.
I don't think that's time for goofs when this is happening, though. Really, but
there's gonna be a little bit. Like if you there, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a desperation book that is that has like a couple of silly moments of like, even some of these realities are so weird. I mean, we get the telenovelaverse and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, that's not that silly though. Like,
kinda.
It's a little
the idea
silly.
The idea of it is silly, and then you destroy it, which isn't silly. But the idea of it is silly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Though, is I don't think that like. I think that it's all still presented very straight.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of like gallows humor that you get out of it.
Gallows humor, yes. I don't think it's look, a giant man amongst animals, like goofies, like that sort of goofy humor there. I don't think that's.
Do you think that there is a space that we get shown the Animalverse?
I'm sure the Animalverse comes up, yes, but like I think that it's like I think it's serious, or like more serious than.
Was there a Scion sent to the supply and demand universe? How would that universe cope given the lack of heroes around to protect it? Would Barzak and his lackeys step in? I don't think it's a thing we see, but sure, there's Scions everywhere.
Yeah.
And even villains fight the Scions because they're trying to destroy reality. And they're like, hey, this is where I keep my stuff.
Yeah.
Were there Scions sent to the Iron Legacy timeline before it was erased? Presumably, and those don't exist anymore.
I don't see. Yeah, we don't see them though, so like it's immaterial.
Right. Did OblivAeon make any living planets into Scions, such as Orbo? This would be terrifying. Well, Orbo is the last Satellan.
Mm-hmm.
Orbo in this reality, Orbo is the only Satellan around, and Orbo doesn't get made into a Scion.
No.
OblivAeon is like, Orbo, become a Scion and destroy all these things. And Orbo's like, no, I'm in love with the human.
I have someone
like,
I love.
Oh my god. Oh. Anyway,
that non-Orbo being friend zoned. Also, after that, how do you ghost a planet?
Just don't return its calls. Easy. My cohort wants to ask if General Geist, or really if any vengeful Nazi, became a Scion. He's hoping we won't need to deal with souped-up Nazi ghosts anytime soon. No, General Geist does not become a Scion.
Nope.
I don't think we have any Nazi Scions.
Not explicitly.
Right. Oh, right. Some of them deep in their hearts.
Voss is very Nazi adjacent.
Yeah, he's Nazi coded.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for your time and your lies. Cordially, Fragrack. P.S. Turns out the bard didn't show up to my ambush. I spent all that time rigging together a perfectly serviceable death trap, and he goes and pulls this. I had to stop an old lady from setting the thing off. The nerve.
All right. I have a letter from Delicious Decapod who writes, Dear Adam and Christopher, I write to you from Rook City, where I've settled after my San Alonso career vanished in a flash of cosmic light. I'm offering acting lessons to make ends meet, but my lobsterish looks make it hard to keep clients. My vocal exercises in particular are receiving a lot of accusations of trying to summon chthonic beings. This started me thinking. Scions of OblivAeon, like us decapods, are a varied bunch. Are there any motifs, visual or otherwise, that are used to show something is a Scion? Many thanks to Delicious Decapod.
Okay, this is a great question. Can you look at a Scion and be like, oh shoot, that's a Scion of OblivAeon? I know by looking at it. I think the answer is no.
No, I don't think so. I think most of them have bristling cosmic energy, but so does a lot of things.
Right. I do think that a lot of the times the way they arrive is like, oh, it's another Scion, because there's like a OblivAeon has thrown this into this area, and you're like, oh, that heralds another Scion being sublamed.
The arrival is more indicative of the appearance. Yeah.
The arrival, and then frequently they're like, I come to speak of OblivAeon and OblivAeon's destruction. And you're like, oh, okay, all right, okay. Yeah. It's a havering about OblivAeon, therefore Scion.
All right. Yeah. P.S.
There's a postscript.
There is. P.S. I've fallen behind as of writing, so I don't know if you appreciated the fun fact of my last letter, or if in fact you even read it. In case you did, though, here's another one. Did you know lobsters grow continuously throughout their lives, shedding their carapace as it becomes too small? Gives the thought of a Jew lobster a terrifying new dimension. That's fun.
Lobsters do grow continuously. That's true.
I have to imagine the meat is not as good on a really old lobster.
I don't know.
That it probably gets tougher. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we can find just a huge, like a 10-foot lobster and feast. We can bacchanate.
I have a letter from Boundless.
Hail, Wardens! While I remain confined within the bounds of this multiverse, waiting to witness the grand unraveling, I grow weary of my solitude.
Who is this Boundless?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me now, what has happened to my fellow Scions?
Oh, you're a Scion of OblivAeon.
Oh.
After our master's fall, have any of them gone into hiding, or have they withered in the absence of his grace? Were any of them stored away on purpose?
So I think all of the Scions, I don't think the Scions have a singular fate. I don't think it's like, oh, with the destruction of OblivAeon, every single Scion dies. I think some of them show up. I think some of them are destroyed during the OblivAeon conflict.
Yeah. Some of them retain power. Also, like the power is a gift. It does not diminish of OblivAeon's.
Right. They've been powered up by OblivAeon. Now, certainly with OblivAeon gone, they're no longer having a conduit of power where the OblivAeon's not able to like throw them around and move them places and rejuvenate them and things like that. So like they're no longer getting any boons from OblivAeon. But if they've been changed to something other than they were, it's not to say that thing
they don't just revert.
Stops. Yeah. They don't just revert. Now they might go on and continue to change, evolve in other ways. They continue to be existing in a place where
much like reality. The noble Pokemon.
That's much. I believe you meant to say pocket. No, what is it? Pouch Beast.
Pouch Beast. Much like the noble Pouch Beast.
There we go. Took me a second.
Have any Scions displeased my master to the point of him undoing their ascension? Have any of them, besides the traitorous Thorathian, that attempted to usurp him?
None other than the traitorous Thorathian attempted to usurp him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I do think
no one else is ambitious enough.
Yeah, right. Cosmically ambitious.
You got to be a level of ambitious to be like, you know what? I know this thing's super, super powerful, but what if that were me?
Yeah, right. But then there's a level of ambition, perhaps rivaling or maybe even beyond that, where Baron Blade triple crosses Voss.
Yeah.
So like, there's some big personalities here.
Yes. A lot of hubris going around.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I do think there's. I don't know if we ever see a story. I would do a writer's room story of some issue that's told of a Scion doing this, maybe as in a Dispiration or maybe in like a Tome of the Bizarre or something, but like a Scion doing the bidding of OblivAeon and then like failing OblivAeon in some way and OblivAeon just being like wiping it from existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it could.
Are there any Scions who compare to me, a warper of space, a being of pure quantum uncertainty? Can any Scions manipulate probability, space, or time? Or are these powers too abstract for the lesser of those chosen?
Well, I mean, I think that Frenzy certainly has the ability to affect space and time, given the chomping. It does it in a particular way. Boundless, I don't know how many other Scions like you exist, by which I mean fanfic Scions.
Mm-hmm.
Now enough of your time and lies. Bound yet boundless. I shall wait here for my master to return. His powers lay dormant, slumbering in an unknown vessel. The Destroyer is present in your work.
You're making some claims about OblivAeon that I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who can say?
I have a letter from Tomes. Who writes
books? The idea of books has written your letter?
Just a stack of books. Yeah. Dear
not the
CNA.
concept of books, some specific books.
Some specific. This is several specific tomes.
A pile of 6 books.
Uh-huh.
All right.
That have languished on a desk, collecting dust, and then write of themselves. This tore a page from themselves and scrawled upon.
Hopefully one of the back blank pages.
Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it'd be harder to read, but
on the reverse of that letter, is there an author's acknowledgments or
yeah, this book is dedicated to anyway, Tomes writes, Dear CNA, is asking about Scions like a form of lingering OblivAeon questions? JK.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Definitely. That's why we have, don't worry, at the end of this episode, we have lingering OblivAeon questions.
Oh, good. All right. Ages ago, you described that several characters who have handled OblivAeon shards were close to becoming Scions. It was only their resistance to fully embracing the power that kept them from passing the point of no return. Yeah.
That's true.
We definitely talked about them.
Yeah. And we meant it.
Yeah. You've also described several of the Scions who were directly infused with OblivAeon's power. Darkmind being plucked from fading away into the void, Faultless altered to uphold the order of entropy, and Omnitron reactivated to continue the cosmic plan.
Yeah. That sounds like us.
Yeah. I can't remember when, but another listener asked if Guise was effectively the Scion of Wagermaster, to which you agreed. If not for the chaotic energies of Wagermaster, Joseph King could still be stuck under that piano.
No, he'd be dead.
He would still be stuck there to this day. With this information established, I turn to the questions of this letter. As Omnitron was getting its cosmic upgrade, there was someone also affected by OblivAeon's energy, someone who had been studying the shifting code, gaining the superpowered insight in how things were connected, and also how to exploit them. Is Parse a Scion of OblivAeon?
Ask the better question.
Ask the better question? Oh, or maybe the better question is, how close was Parse to being a Scion of OblivAeon?
Parse is not a Scion of OblivAeon. Parse was close. Parse could have been a Scion of OblivAeon.
Yeah, I think that like Parse is more like a side effect of a Scion of OblivAeon.
For sure. That's the cosmic commentary.
Yeah.
Is Parse's origin story is a side effect. But that means the building blocks, the pieces were there for Parse's story to go in a different way and be a Scion of OblivAeon. Mm-hmm. And the main reason she didn't is the particular way her brain works of thinking about things and analyzing things and like storing away all this information for later, which is why when at the beginning of the OblivAeon conflict, when OblivAeon shows up, she sees OblivAeon and just goes, oh, shoop, and turns off. Yeah. And like Parse is unable to cope with witnessing OblivAeon because all of the blocks that are in her mind that she's been using as tools suddenly just open up in a way where she's like, oh, nope, literally cannot process this.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes some time and then has her own particular changes that occur. That's getting ahead of things.
She gets better.
She gets better. That's yeah.
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 It was through Highbrow confronting Parse about the further consequences of her actions that she began to shift from doing what was effective towards what was right. If that hadn't happened and Parse continued on her ruthless path, perhaps her abilities would have caught the eye of OblivAeon. He would have a good offer to her, the opportunity to comprehend everything before the end of the multiverse. I don't think that she would have accepted.
I don't think she would have accepted. I don't thinking about like ruthless Parse with no ruth. That doesn't become something that OblivAeon is like, oh yeah, I want that as a scion.
She's also like, yes, she's being effective, but she also thinks that's right. Like,
yep.
She's not like, I'm going to be a villain about it. I'm killing criminals. Like,
yeah, I do think that there's space for the idea of a scion of OblivAeon who is an alternate reality Parse.
Yeah, there is.
Because like Parse from some other reality, like it takes very few tweaks to get to, oh, that's a scion now.
Yeah, I don't think that ruthless Parse.
Yep.
Ruthless Parse is the point at which that would change, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's other Parses, Adam, that you and I are aware of that we haven't talked about. That I'm like, oh, those are way more on the table as a OblivAeon scion.
Yeah. Letter finishes. I hope you enjoyed this wild speculation. It's been a question on my mind for ages. Not quite caught up, but trying to sneak in this burning inquiry. Tomes.
Thank you very much for the question. I did enjoy the wild speculation.
Thank you.
All right, Adam, we got to change to a different track.
Okay.
And then in a bit, we'll change back to a similar track. But first, we're going to go to this other track.
This is the worst version of the trolley problem ever.
I don't think that's true.
They were going to one track and then back to the other.
But like, nobody's dying as a result of it, so it's got to not be the worst. Like there's way worse versions of the trolley problem. Both of them involving death.
You're assuming no one's dying.
I am assuming that.
Okay. All right. It's a wild assumption.
Assuming no one dies,
just
this is not the worst of the
tracks willy nilly. There's people all over him.
It's not actually very willy nilly at all. It's in fact quite specific. If anything, we're changing tracks to avoid killing people.
Okay. All right. See how that goes for you. The best laid plans of trolley drivers.
All right, this next letter is, oh no! Ah! Oh, the humanity. Okay, this next letter is from Zetchless. You're right there?
Yes.
A famous Egyptian is crossed out, Scottish prophet.
Okay.
Who writes, Dear Chrysopraise, Dear Chrysopraise and Adamantium.
I got the easy one.
Yeah. I really enjoyed your latest episode, the Highland Harridan Knife, and I have a few wee questions as a Scottish listener. Now, I know the answer to most of these are American comics, so it never really comes up, but indulge me. Firstly, is Knife just generically Scottish, or is she actually ever given a hometown? She's a strong Glasgow energy for me, but that's probably, that's maybe just my personal bias talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's from Glasgow.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. How did you know?
Yeah. How did you know?
Wow. Nailed it. Nailed it in
Got
one.
it in one, yeah.
Yeah. Secondly, I'm guessing that given that she served in the Royal Marines, the wiki says Scottish Marines, but that's definitely not a thing. I got to pause you here. I think we've talked about this before. We're coming back around. She's not from this reality.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the Scottish Marines.
Yeah.
In the reality she was from, there's a thing called the Scottish Marines.
Yeah.
Because in that reality, the wonderful thing happened. The great thing, the beautiful and wonderful thing happened where Scotland wasn't part of anything that England is doing. They're their own place.
That goes into the next little thing here.
Oh, right. She's probably more of a unionist than a nationalist, but is this the case? How does she feel about Scottish independence? Well,
she feels Scotland is independent.
Scotland is independent.
Her reality, yeah.
And when she is in a reality where that's not the case, she's like, what's this? That's not correct. No. The enemy? We're part of them? No, thank you. Is she ever pictured with a can of Iron Brew? Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised if some artist snuck it in. Like, it's not a plot point, obviously, but just like that's such an easy thing to do, and is enough of a pop culture knowledge thing. I think that it's unsurprising to find a panel at some point with her. How does she take her chips? With chippy sauce, gravy, or cheese? Probably chippy sauce. Maybe all of the above. Oh, you think she's wild?
Oh yeah, no,
pile it on.
She
does want
person.
It all. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say chaos person. She's actually pretty orderly in the way she does things. She just wants to do it all.
Okay.
But she is. Like,
she's like, I'll take one of each. That's
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she'll eat. She's got an appetite. Is she more of a Chris Hoy or
she burns like 60,000 calories a day?
Is she more of a Sir Chris Hoy or a Sir Andy Murray? Poof, that's tough. I would say probably Andy Murray, but I could be wrong between the two.
This is where I'm lost.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
They're Scottish people who have done sports that you...
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Right. Finally, is she a Rangers or a Celtic fan? Or sorry, a Celtic fan. I know that one's Celtic. It should be Celtic, but it's Celtic. The word Celtic is pronounced with a hard C,
right?
Unless you're talking about a sports team. There's two sports teams, the Celtics and the Celtic, and both of them use the soft one. And
that's bizarre.
It's bizarre, especially the one that is a Scottish football club. Like, that one should definitely be Celtic, but it's not. It's Celtic, and that's dumb. Anyway, so like either way, we're agreed that she's an Old Firm fan, and she would come down hard on the line. In the past, so like a lot of when she was written earlier, I would say that she would be a Celtic fan, but modernly it doesn't. The dividing lines are not as clear.
Do they have the same teams in her reality, or do they like? Is it like slightly different? Is it actually pronounced Celtic in her reality?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got it back. In her reality, it is it's the Rangers and the Celtic, and she's a Celtic fan. Oh, good job, Adam. We got it. Yeah. In fact, when somebody someday corrects her and says, "Oh, you mean Celtic?" She's like, "I do not." The letter concludes: inquiring minds want, nay, need to know. Thanks, pals. Zachlus, a famous Egyptian crossed out Scottish prophet.
Thank you, Zachlus. The Burning Stickman writes, "Dear Christopher, Adam, Trevor, and the Paige Huntley variant that you don't even realize has infiltrated your offices."
She's not only sneaky, but then she keeps it low key after being. That's quite the variant.
Hanging out there, yeah. So listening to the Knife No Punch episode reminded me that our Paige Huntley is not native to the main Sentinels comics timeline, which made me wonder how different is that timeline from the timeline she originates from.
Well, it's mostly just Scottish independence, and the football club is called Celtic. That's
pretty much it. Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Are there things she misses from her home world? Do you ever see her griping that her preferred brand of Scotch or whiskey was better back home, or complain that she can't get seasons 2 through 7 of her favorite TV show because this timeline it was grossly mishandled by its network and only ended up with one season in a movie?
Okay, we can talk about those things real quick.
Yeah.
TV show? No. I don't think she's a TV show watching kind of person. I don't think we get that vibe. I do think that we could have like an offhand comment at some point about like, this Glenn Morangi is not quite the same.
I like to think that she her favorite though is not from her home reality either. That when she was working at Filter, she like sampled a bunch of different ones. It was like, this is the one.
Like, what you really want.
Everything else
you
about
want
this
Beggerfeld from this reality.
Right. Everything else about this reality sucks except for that.
And Lagavulin isn't anything like it is except for, I tell you, reality 316 has the best Lagavulin. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think her reality is almost identical to ours, except for small differences. Like, there's a lot of realities that are just...
There's a lot of realities like that, which is the whole OblivAeon thing about, like, this reality is vulnerable to these other realities. Mm-hmm. So I do think this reality is very similar.
Yeah.
It's not like, and everybody's tree people.
Right.
Sorry, treeple.
Treeple, right.
Yeah.
The treeple reality is crazy.
That one is crazy.
Has she ever attempted to go back to her home world before OblivAeon put the Sentinel Comics timeline in the sandwich bag? She had been back, like...
She has, yes.
But like,
Yeah,
I don't think she has a lot of attachment there. Like,
No.
just a military person doesn't really foster attachment.
Yep. I agree.
There. She fosters attachment with her military group, which is outside of reality. And then when she leaves them, is like, well, I'm kind of just in this one now. So, semi-related question: is Administrator Huntley the Paige Huntley from the main comics timeline? No. As always, thank you for the wonderful worlds you've created and giving us the chance to play around in them. The Burning Stick Man. Thank you.
All right, I have a letter from Norm L. Mann, who writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, Administrator Huntley is fascinating to me because I love evil doppelgangers and desk jobs. Very specific cross-section there.
Yeah.
With the reveal that Administrator Huntley masterminded Knife's career with Filter, it sounds as though she turns into an important enemy for Knife. Is this the case? Does she have many more appearances? I wouldn't say she has many more appearances. She certainly has at least one or two more appearances post the Filter book. But she doesn't become like a frequent character or anything.
No,
this isn't the last you've seen of Administrator Huntley for sure.
No, but her villainhood status is kind of contingent on Filter.
Yeah, there's an idea that, like, if she got booted from Filter somehow, that she would find some other way to like. If she got booted from Filter and it was Knife's, and she considered it was Knife's fault, then that would be a motivation for her to be like, oh, now I've got to really take it out on you. Yeah, right. There's space for that. You both agreed that Administrator Huntley is a capable combatant, threatening to take Knife down herself. How does she fight? Does she have powers like Knife's or something else? More importantly, how often do readers see her fighting? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being Unity and 10 being Mr. Fixer, how good is Administrator Huntley at CQC? Is she better or worse than Knife? Side note, I picked Unity as the one for the CQC scale because she has robots to get in fistfights for her, so I assume she doesn't do it much herself. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, Unity is not great at close quarters combat.
Right.
And Mr. Fixer is an ideal person to have as a 10. Administrator Huntley is good at that stuff. Certainly not the best. Maybe a 5 or 6 at the best, I would say. But also has gadgets. We've seen the tech that she has on the
I also though
platform.
I think that she is a lot more composed of a fighter than regular Knife. So like regular Knife is kind of a brawler, right?
Oh, for sure. She throws herself into combat.
Yeah, and I think of Administrator Huntley as being more like Neo at the very end of the Matrix, where he's just like standing almost still and like dodging punches that way and deflecting, just like very precise.
Yeah. As for her role in Filter, I'm curious, how important is she? We're told that she's an administrator. How many of those does Filter have? And as a Paige Huntley working for Filter, does she have a cool acronym? Okay, she is mid-level important. The project that she's doing there, she's the person in charge of it. So to that project, she's super important. But she at Filter isn't one of the top brass there,
right? No,
by any stretch. How many administrators does Filter have? Dozens, maybe hundreds. Not thousands. But yeah.
Every space station project, whatever, has an administrator. And they got a bunch of those in a bunch of different realities.
Certainly hundreds. Certainly hundreds. As a Paige Huntley working for Filter, does she have a cool acronym?
I don't think she does.
I think she does.
I don't think this one does.
I agree. Yeah. Which is weird.
She's just Administrator Huntley.
Yeah. There's probably even a joke about it somewhere where someone's like, oh, well, you know, probably a cool acronym. But here's the thing, actually, like Sergeant Steele, there's lots of things that Filter has that are related. The Block's not an acronym. Have we said the Block's an acronym before?
No, I don't think we have.
In my head, it's not.
No, it's the Block because it's shaped like a block.
Yes, that is correct.
And also because it's like cell block.
The letter concludes, lastly, as the mastermind behind gathering all the many Paige Huntleys that appeared during the OblivAeon event, I have to know, was she on the Mars base? Did she and Knife get to have one last showdown before the self-destruct went off? Gosh, I hope so. That would be radical. Ah, man. It sounds like we could do a writer's room about the Mars base story. Have we done that? I don't think we have. We've told it. I think that we told that story like before we were doing writer's rooms.
I think so too.
Yeah. I don't know if it's worth it. Was Administrator Huntley on the Mars base at that event? I don't think so. Because that was all knives.
Yeah.
Administrator Huntley is not a knife.
No, those were all knives from different realities, or maybe like the lab is emptied of them and to do that. And,
right.
Yeah.
So presumably the ones that are on that Mars base come from Administrator Huntley's
They were
project.
all knives. Does that mean that there are some knives that are not Paige Huntley?
Yes.
They're there.
There are knives
there.
that are there. I don't know. Probably. There are knives that aren't Paige Huntley, and there are Paige Huntley that aren't knives.
But everyone at that fight was a knife.
Well, right, but they're not necessarily all knives, KNYFE. They're all, they're like Kunai, I would say, is a knife, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's that kind of thing. Whereas Administrator Huntley is not a knife, if that category makes sense. Thank you for reading my letter and for doing the work that you do. You make life a little easier. Oh, thank you. I know we make a lot of people's lives harder, so I'm glad that there's somebody out there.
We definitely make some people's lives harder.
Yeah. The letter concludes, normally yours, normal man. Thank you so much for your letter.
Thank you. I have a letter from Tillin Stormmage, who writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, hello once again. It seems my apprentice has gotten us out of Gloomweaver's clutches at the last possible moment. Whoever said ancient relics of Doom origin were easy to break is wrong. Just snap it in half. Yeah, okay. We aren't all blessed by Nordic deities to have strength to move mountains.
Okay.
My own escapades aside. All right. Sounds like you got a lot going on there, pal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my own escapades aside, the recent knowledge of one, no, it was far more than one, Paige Huntley's, has me curious. With Knife being someone who has gotten around the universe as much as she has there been a situation where one of her past one-night stands comes back as a problem? Jealous ex got in bed with someone influential that caused repercussions, space aids. Well, that took a turn. I'm sure that she runs afoul of an ex in one way or another.
Yeah, I'm sure it happens. There's got to be a story.
Yeah.
There's got to be a story.
There's got to be. Yeah, that's
right.
That's definitely a writer's room.
Yeah. It's sorry to have just a, yep, that happens answer, but yeah.
Anyway, it seems that Hourglass is attempting to ferry the group back to our original timeline. Here's hoping she doesn't lose focus this time. Sincerely, Tillin Stormmage. P.S. It seems my earlier correspondence has yet to reach you. I'm not surprised by this. A certain someone thought it was a good idea to have the group travel back in time to before the arcane explosion of gloom energies, do the feedback loop instead of shifting us to a different location in space. She says she'll try better next time. Clouds and waves, this girl will be the death of me. All right. Good luck. I hope you work all that out.
I have a letter from Tango who says, howdy, you two. As I was listening to the latest episode on Knife, you said that Filter wouldn't call the team of pages they are creating hunters because they'd rather do some kind of acronym. Well, I challenged that with an acronym of my own. Huntley's under neurotechnological enhancement, rabble rousers.
Oh my God.
I don't love the rabble rousers there, but they use some odd words at times, so I feel like it fits. I suppose I should have a question as well, so here goes. As rival, does Paige Huntley face problems without punching her way out of it more often? No. If so, is this only because Vantage is there with her, or is there an actual character growth that would have happened when she fully separated herself from Filter anyway, or a combination of the both? No, so I would say that Rival doesn't punch her way out of situations less than Knife does. I would say that Rival fights and does other things a bit more, not cautiously, a little bit less recklessly.
Judiciously, maybe?
Yeah. Just she's got a bit more wisdom. Not a lot, but a bit.
I think there's not a huge amount of character development between the end of Knife and the beginning of Rival.
No, there's some though.
There's not, but there isn't a big
thing that makes her go, oh, I should completely rethink my life though. She's like, all worked out, let's go.
Yeah, no, the character growth comes from now she's Rival. Where is this character going? We see that on the page. We're not just going like, oh, we're switching her over to something different in between. So, yeah. Paradox Sage writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, I think this is the first time I've heard about all the members of the Steel Strike Force, and I'm very intrigued by its composition. You have Arsonator, clearly some sort of pyromaniac, Battle Medic, a medic, obviously enough, Bomb Specialist, their demolitionist, Espion Agent, spy in other words, which is probably my favorite name from among them. Field Inventor, likely some kind of engineer, Infiltrationist, a scout perhaps, Mega Gunner, a heavy weapon specialist, Sharpshooter, their sniper, and Sergeant Steele himself, the loyal soldier of Filter. Very interesting group of 9. This makes me wonder if this team has ever had to defend some kind of fortress.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know either. They're not really a team. They're a strike force.
Right. Yeah. And like the only like there's the block. Is that the fortress you're talking about?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. But as for my actual question, I remember seeing that filter loyalist Paige Huntley before the Temporal Fractures card in the OblivAeon deck. So I was surprised to hear that she had appeared before the OblivAeon event. At least I assume that was Administrator Huntley. The fact that not only is that her first appearance, but it's not even the first time she's amassed an army of knives, makes me wonder how significant she really is. Is there enough time before OblivAeon for her to become a recurring villain for Knife? How about after? Does she get stuck in the sandwich bag and become a recurring villain for Rival? Thanks for the excellent universe, Paradox Sage.
I was already talking about this a bit. I don't think that obviously everything in the OblivAeon is enhanced edition and so like
it's
can't get
subject to retcon. Yeah.
Right. But I don't think that the Temporal Fractures Paige Huntley, that's not Administrator Huntley.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah. But it might be in the future. But who can say?
Yeah.
Who can say? Time will tell. We don't really have a very satisfactory answer for this other than stuff we've already said.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what is and isn't in the sandwich bag and what happened to Administrator Huntley either. So,
we'll say lots of things that are and are not in the sandwich bag, right?
Sure.
But this one we're not going to specifically give an answer on at this point.
Yeah. Sorry.
To say, I won't say what is and isn't in the sandwich bag. It's like, well, are you never going to say anything? It's like, no, we'll say lots of things.
I won't say anything.
Okay.
This is the last sentence I'm ever going to say.
This podcast is going to be very strange from now on.
Sure
presumably,
is.
Well, wait, hold on. That didn't last long at all.
Yeah, I'm not very good at keeping promises.
Wow.
I struggled to commit.
I'm going to read this letter from Mind Wanderer, who writes, "Greetings, page planners. A letter read in episode 307 by the Cult of Gloon raised some additional questions for me, and it's about what it's like to work for Filter long term. First, you implied that no one who learns about Filter is allowed to return to their normal lives. This implies that no one is allowed to quit either. Now, certainly some members who survive long enough to reach old age are moved into management positions, but either the fatality rate is high enough that they don't have to worry about it, or Filter needs some way to, let's say, dispose of agents who are past their prime. How do they deal with this?" Okay.
They have a retirement universe.
Retirement universe. I love it.
It's just empty. It said they're just like, we're just going to make this a retirement.
Do we have like a deprogramming, like we wipe their mind, and then that means that there's later a story of an old guy who's like, I used to work for an organization jumping from reality to reality fighting aliens. Yeah. And people are like, that's just a crazy old man. And people are like, that is a crazy old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like Retirement Universe. Both are true. Secondly, you mentioned that filter agents are discouraged from forming attachments outside the fold. But with all the people cooped up in a small area together, I imagine that intra-filter attachments are probably commonplace. I get the feeling that active filter agents wouldn't be encouraged to raise families, and you answered that question about filter agents retiring from service. That's true, we did. You mentioned before, in episode 154, that Knife has nanobot contraception. Yes. Mm-hmm. But that seems prohibitive to distribute and maintain at scale when surgical or chemical sterilization is on the table. Woof. So what is the solution to the problem? Well, see, the thing is, one of the realities...
They just inject it. If you sign up, you just get injected with it. With
the nanobots. Right. Yeah. Because the trick is that, like, one of the realities, it has super cheap, widespread, lots of nanobot stuff that they use. Mm-hmm. It's a thing that Filter grabbed. I wouldn't say it's proprietary because that doesn't super exist for Filter stuff. Yeah. But I think that the thing that you're implying, sir, is that there's filter agent on filter agent rampant boning happening in the block.
And definitely.
I am not here to say yes or no to that. I think that's outside the purview of the pages of Sentinel Comics. But Adam said yes, so there you go.
Yeah.
If the answers to the two above questions are as draconian as I imagine them to be, how do they keep their agents from figuring it out and engineering escape plans en masse? Thanks as always. Oh, I think that various escape plans get engineered, but en masse is the part. Like,
yeah,
Filter gives you enough reasons to be loyal, both carrot and stick.
Yeah.
So
it's actually not a bad company to work for.
Company is such a weird word.
Yeah. Like you're given room and board. You're
treated pretty well.
Well. You got a retirement universe should you choose that.
That's right. You can vacation in a variety of different cool locales.
Yep. See the world.
Plus, once you know, how do you go back, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I have a letter from Tomes. The Tomes reached out once again. Another page has been torn from their bodies.
Oh, man, that's rough.
With each passing letter, they grow less of themselves. Hello, CNA. With the talk of the Pages Huntley in episode 308 and my initial impression of the Huntley Research Station, my mind went over to speculate some more on fixed points. First, is Page Huntley a fixed point? The fact not all of the Page Huntleys have a power set like Knife's indicates that it wouldn't be the same style of fixed point as the one around Vanessa Long. If she's not a fixed point, filter pulling in so many variations of the person demonstrates a whole new level of their persistence to infiltrate realities.
Okay, hold on. What do you mean, is she a fixed point? Like, is the existence of Paige Huntley a fixed point? No, there are certainly realities without Paige Huntleys. Mm-hmm. In no way is Paige Huntley a fixed point.
No.
There's lots of different ways I could take this question, and I don't care for any of them.
No, I don't think any of them. Yeah, in terms of the filters, I think that you end up with this because of Administrator Huntley. Seems like that's why there's so many knives.
That's right.
In filter.
Yeah.
They didn't have to be.
No.
she just did this.
She is the chicken.
Yes.
Of the chicken and the egg situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Second, can fixed points be tangled or converge onto the same part of a reality? For example, could there be a Paige Long or a Vanessa Huntley that fulfills the fixed points surrounding those two characters?
If the Paige Huntley were a fixed point, which she isn't, then yes, you could do a thing where one person could fulfill both fixed points.
Yes. Thanks again for giving us weekly twists and turns to the Sentinels multiverse, such as the reveal of the Huntley Research Station being named after an administrator, not the subjects. Writing from an unfixed position, Tomes. You can't just be knocked off the desk.
That's straight. This stack of books.
Yeah.
That letter, Adam, about its multiversal fixed point stuff is such a great transition to go to our last section of letters here, which we're going to go through as quickly as we can. But these lingering OblivAeon letters have been lingering for some time, and we got to get to them.
Great.
So let's start off with one from Tango, who writes, "Howdy, you two. You've mentioned that before that Universe 1, which is the universe inside the sandwich bag, is cut off from the rest of the multiverse. We also know the metaverse is part of the multiverse." Yes, this is true. I see where this is going. I don't know that I care for it. I think I remember you saying that the metaverse being part of the multiverse is the reason the writers of Sentinel Comics write what they do, because they're actually looking into the universes where the heroes are. Yes, right. That is both a bit about the metaverse writers, but also about us. Yes. That we are not actually very creative. We're just hacks, and we look through the multiverse. Yeah, and we just see what other people do, and we write that down. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the reason why there's no Watcher in this, because it's us.
It's us. Yeah. It's us. Now, that may have either been A, lie from you two, or B, a joke explanation from the writers of Sentinel Comics. I'm going to choose it's true unless explicitly told otherwise, though. Absolutely true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. You can't refute it, can you?
We wouldn't lie to you. And if we would, then it would free us up to say things guilt-free, like we wouldn't lie to you. Mm-hmm. Because we've already done so we just keep doing so. But we wouldn't.
Yeah.
As for the second part, joke explanations from the writers of Sentinel Comics, I'm aghast. The writers of Sentinel Comics are very serious people who take the writing of comics very seriously and never do any joke type things. Obviously. So my question is, the letter continues, what is the multiverse explanation for how they continue to tell stories about the universe in the sandwich bag? Are they now just guessing what happens rather than seeing it unfold? When the sandwich bag gets removed, that's totally if and not when, are there going to be a lot of continuity errors as the writers have access to the universe again and just fix whatever they got wrong with no explanation? Or is this entirely wrong? Thanks for answering my crazy questions, Tango.
Yeah, that's very likely that there's continuity error because they're
just making it up now.
They're just making it up. Yeah.
They suddenly have to start writing instead of just documenting.
Yep.
I think that the explanation that's given in the pages of Sentinel Comics about we're just writers looking through definitely is a joke that happens at some point with some fourth wall breaking stuff and then isn't ever addressed seriously again. So when Universe 1 stuff, sandwich bag stuff happens, the idea that the writers are just chronicling what's happening is like, oh, they still somehow have access. I wonder how it is.
See through a sandwich bag.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a clear sandwich bag.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the singular entities seem to be able to see through the sandwich bag. Specifically, Wager Master can't see through the sandwich bag.
It's one of those ones that has like a print on it, and so they're just looking at the part that has the print.
It's covered up.
And so they're like, if they just moved, then they would be able to see around Bluey and.
Okay.
All right. I have a letter from the enigmatic elephant. Who writes, I noticed during Editor's Note 87 an odd connection between two elements of OblivAeon. We know that the shards are created when OblivAeon is seriously harmed, are called OblivAeon shards. Very specifically, not OblivAeon shards. OblivAeon shards. Yeah.
OblivAeon shards.
Yes.
Yeah.
We also know that OblivAeon was formed when the singular entity Oblivion attacked and merged with Archaon. Are the shards called OblivAeon shards because they somehow contain only the power or essence of Oblivion and not Archaon? Does that imply that Archaon's power is proportionally greater in other remains of Oblivion's power? Aeon Girl, perhaps? And do the powers of Oblivion and Archaon even exist as things that can be separated at all, or were they all combined inextricably in OblivAeon?
All right, so OblivAeon shards are called OblivAeon shards in the pages of Sentinel Comics. In the metaverse, they're written as OblivAeon shards because they predate OblivAeon. Not obviously predating OblivAeon in terms of the chronology of the world of Sentinel Comics.
Right.
But the OblivAeon shards were created before OblivAeon was posited. So then when OblivAeon comes along, they're like, oh, OblivAeon shards obviously come from OblivAeon, and they're related to the Oblivion side of it. And then the answer to the question of like, I mean, I love that this letter just goes through all of it. The answer to the question of like, okay, but what about the Archaon power? Yes, Aeon Girl, sure. But we have another thing called Aeon something. We have Oblivion shards and we have Aeon men.
Yes.
So Aeon men are kind of like ambulatory Oblivion shards.
Yes. Yeah.
These are answers to the question, but I don't know if they're satisfying.
I don't know if they are either. Yeah. And I don't know exactly how much more information we can give you on that. So
I feel like I do know exactly how much more information we can give you.
That's none. None more.
I'm going to read a really long letter here
from
Balui, who writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, is the singular entity space that they use for time traveling cut off for singular entities in the sandwich bag? Are singular entities in the sandwich bag forced to live out time linear, and then it ends?
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say forced to live out the time linearly.
Or in a linear fashion. It doesn't say anything. Yeah.
It doesn't have a period.
Yeah.
I assume that Balui was writing us a letter about singular entities, sandwich bag stuff, and something stopped him. Something was like, no, don't. So we're going to do our best to answer your question, Balui, here, but I'm worried about you.
I think that any singular entities in the sandwich bag are forced to live out time linearly. Yes.
You think that they obviously can't reality hop anymore?
Yeah. I don't think
so. You think they also can temporally hop? Can they pop outside of reality to like observe?
Yes.
They can go to other realms.
They can go to other realms.
But they can't go all the way to Earth space. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a sandwich bag. Remember, the sandwich bag analogy isn't just a sandwich bag. It is a piece of bread in a sandwich bag. Piece of bread is Universe 1.
Yeah.
But if you put a piece of bread in a sandwich bag, what's also in the sandwich bag with that piece of bread?
There's a little bit of air.
7 spiders.
Wait, why is there spider? Why?
There's every sandwich bag with a piece of bread and it has 7 spiders. You can't see them. They're there though.
Oh God. Okay.
But besides the 7 spiders, as you said, Adam, there's a little air.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of Earth space. There is
an
envelope of Earth space around. And so I think they can go to that. I think that they can even go do time stuff within that. Singular entities in the sandwich bag can go into Earth space and then back into reality at a different point in time, right?
I don't think that they can because I don't think that. I think that I think that because the Earth space is bound within that I think that
it's also traveling forward.
It's also traveling forward. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the sandwich bag, no time travel.
Yeah.
The closest we get is Chrono Ranger, and the stuff that Chrono Ranger, Time Slinger, the stuff the Time Slinger is doing isn't actually moving time not forward. You can slow down or speed up time in little concentrated bubbles, but then it has a snapback to reality. Oops, there goes gravity moment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dope-a-do-dabbity, nope-a-do-nabbity.
Yeah, those are the words.
Yeah.
But Louis, I'm very worried about what happened to you.
Yeah. I have a letter from Endril who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam. This is somewhat connected to a separate question about the prophecies timeline, but I felt this left the scope of the question and became instead a general lingering OblivAeon question. Surely with a desire to make cameos strong within the artists and writers, I'm wondering if they made any mistakes in including certain characters. Maybe a desperation. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Maybe a desperation variant can be seen fighting Aeon men in the background, but ask the comic fans, they'll tell you that version died at the end of their issue. Maybe a group of characters from one universe, such as prophecies, appear in a group shot, but keen readers will remember that the universe doesn't have a character like Night Mist who could become the Gate."
Okay. But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those errors happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Except that, the Desperation variant that died at the end of their issue that you see fighting there isn't the one that died at the end of the issue. It's another reality that is very similar to the one that Desperation variant is from. It's a variant of the variant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in that reality, Scottish independence only changed.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a bad place.
I also think, I could be wrong about this, but I think happened. I know. I think there are gates in worlds with which there are not Night Mists. I think that all the Night Mists become gates, but also make gates to worlds in which there are not Night Mists.
I think that the gates can go to any world that has an amount of Night Mist power.
The power, sure, yeah.
And the best source of Night Mist power is a Night Mist. But if there's a place that doesn't have a Night Mist, but there is some amount of that of a Night Mist power from one method or another, I can come up with several methods off the top of my head of how a bit of Night Mist power could be in a place. Maybe there used to be a Night Mist. Maybe a Night Mist visited there one time. Maybe a Night Mist reached through that reality in some way for some magical thing.
But I think that there have to be gates in places where there aren't Night Mists in order to because otherwise there's a lot of errors in cameos.
Sure. But the I would say that the Ashen Air counts as as Night Mist power, but isn't a Night Mist. Ashen Air is not a Night Mist, but counts as Night Mist power for the purpose of a gate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did such mistakes happen, or was there some sort of keeper of continuity keeping close eye on the panels to avoid such errors? If these mistakes happened, was explanation offered such as Locomotora meddling, or that these characters hailed from very similar but different universes once it somehow skipped OblivAeon's initial onslaught of timelines?
Okay, so yes, there are definitely continuity editors at Sentinel Comics and at most, if not all, comic book companies. Continuity errors also, or editors also make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Things slip through the cracks, especially in OblivAeon where you have 1 million cameos.
Yeah.
So yes, there are continuity editors. And yes, mistakes happened. And yes, they were explained in hand-wavy ways like we just did.
Yeah. Continuity editors are not some sort of inhuman correction mechanism.
It'd be great if they were, though.
Yeah, they're still people. And so, for the lack of Night Mist question, are there any that could take her place? How similar to Night Mist did one need to be in order to sacrifice themselves to become a gate? I'm assuming Mist powers is an absolute requirement, but does one need to, in some aspect, be Faye Diamond, or could, say, Clarity itself have a piece of itself serve as a gate?
Yeah, it's possible.
That's possible, yeah.
It's possible.
I think that the rules are not very clear, because it's magic. So
the rules are actually very clear and very easy to understand if you happen to be an incredibly high-level magic practicing person.
Right, but as a reader, you're going to struggle.
If you are a practiced mage steeped in the arcane lore, then this would make perfect sense to you.
Yes.
But unfortunately...
Sarah Carmichael's like, no, I get it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Can you explain it to me? No, absolutely not.
How much time do you have? Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Obviously, this doesn't matter too much trying to clear up hypothetical continuity errors, but I have fun writing about it anyway. I'll look forward to your answers regarding this.
Thank you so much, Endril. All right, I have a letter from Sketchpad, who writes, "Greetings, fellow creators. I've recently discovered that an OblivAeon shard has been resting in the seas just outside my town, and I was wondering, what sort of side effects could that shard have had on the water? It's been removed and taken care of, I hope. But I was wondering if I should be expecting any mutant fish, water monsters, or a second ghost hurricane. Oh man,
is Sketchpad related to tomes? Sorry, that's a bad assumption. Not all paper products are related. That's
right, but interestingly, some of the pages of one of the books of tomes is from the same grove of trees.
Oh, interesting. So distant
as Sketchpad.
Relative. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, right. Yeah, once removed
right.
from the notebook. So an OblivAeon shard hanging out someplace could create weirdnesses around it, or it could lay dormant for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. Both have happened, and we've seen both. Yeah. And so how worried should you be? The amount of worried that you should be for living in a reality in which OblivAeon shards exist. Which is to say, quite, but there's nothing to be done about it. So maybe don't worry about it.
Yeah. Worrying is, wait, what was the saying for this? There's a saying.
I'm sure there is.
No, I got it. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, all right.
Worrying is wishing for bad things that haven't yet happened.
Oh, that's good. Who said that?
I don't know. I
Gandhi?
heard it in a show. I think. Hold on.
I think it was Gandhi.
Wishing.
There's a PS on this letter that I'm going to read while you look up that attribution. Oh no, there's not. I'm not there yet. There's still a whole other paragraph of this letter, which says, also, in that line of thought, what side effects could an OblivAeon shard have on a person after its influence is removed? Would they hear whispers of power? Would it permanently augment their power to distort their mind? Does its influence vanish with the shard itself? Thank you for answering my question. Okay, so all of those things are possible, and we've seen them all. Like, an OblivAeon shard could affect a person, and then when you remove the shard, they get better, and they're like, oh, I have some trauma from the past, but I've gotten over the cosmic metaphysical stuff. Or they could not, and they could be affected by it forever. They could hear whispers of oblivion even after OblivAeon itself is long destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, if you're a high-level cosmic metaphysical scholar, you would understand this perfectly. Unfortunately, Adam and I are not. We're big dummies, so we can't help you with that. I can't
explain you with that, yeah.
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 Do you have an attribution?
I do. Worrying is wishing for what you don't want.
That's even better than the way that you phrased it.
And it's from Rebecca Searle.
Oh yeah, who's that?
An author, American author and television writer. Famous in Love was her.
I didn't realize we were doing buzz marketing for Rebecca Searle. Now
it looks like she wrote some romance novels, but
and one of the romance novels you were reading is where you got that.
I don't know, it popped up in a TV show, I think. But well, there you go. Rebecca Searle, quote, worrying is wishing for what you don't want.
Well, there you go. Put that on a throw pillow.
Yeah. Or a little cross stitch on your wall.
That's nice.
Yep.
P.S., says Sketchpad, I have realized that my previous gifts did not come with any display cases. Assuming that they've not been distracted, this letter was hand-delivered by a living hat rack. Surely that would work. Yeah? I have such bad news for you. This letter we just found in a pile. Mm-hmm. The living hat rack is not to be accounted for. It's
or trusted.
I assume not. It's who can say?
Yeah. My last letter of the day is from Beck Phillips, who writes, "Greetings, Christopher and Adam. You've discussed several instances of villains turning to aid heroes during OblivAeon, but are there any villains who see a Scion and go, yeah, I'm down with that, and join the enemy side? Just curious." Beck Phillips.
I don't think there's any villains who see a Scion and go, I pledge allegiance to the Scion. Like, no. Like, no. I don't think that's what's happening. But I do think there are villains who see heroes getting beat up by Scions or Aeon men, and the villains go, you know what? Yeah. And either go do crimes because the heroes are busy, or join in the attack against the heroes because they're like, you know what? I don't like these Prime Wardens. These Prime Wardens are getting beat up by some sort of weird mystical force. Now's my chance. I'm going to get some punches in while I can. So, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, I do have one last letter today.
Great.
And it may be the most important letter of the day.
Yeah, it looks important.
Player 3 writes, Dear Christopher and Adam, who is the blorpiest? Guys, Writhe, or Nixius the Chosen?
I think Guys. Guys is the blorpiest.
The letter concludes, Blorpin, player 3.
It's Blorpin time. Yeah.
That's my secret. I'm always Blorpin.
I'm always Blorpin, yeah.
Guys, Writhe, or Nixius? Writhe is really, I think, so Nixius is blorpy, but Nixius is blorpy in a tentacly way, and so those blorps are more defined.
Yeah.
Whereas both Guys and Writhe can blorp in a less defined way.
Yeah. I think that Writhe is...
Because Writhe blorps.
Writhe does blorp. He blorps with the best of them.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's not as constantly fluid in nature as Guys.
He's not as amorphous as Guys is. But Guys usually sticks to forms. Here's the thing. I think that it's kind of hair splitty. I think that I could agree with you that it's Guys, but I could maybe make it a case of Writhe. But I think that there's definitely space out there for a much more blorpy entity than any of these three.
Either of them. Well, so here's... I think leaving Argentium off this list is a mistake. Also, Argentium is more blorpy than Nixius.
And so is Power Creep. Power Creep's very blorpy.
But I think about if I'm going Writhe versus Guys. Yeah. If Writhe falls off a building and if Guys falls off a building, Writhe probably blorps some like wings or like glides down or like stretches down. Or
nope, none of these things. Writhe falls off of a building in man shape.
Yeah.
Or maybe like ambiguous cape shape, cloak shape, or whatever. Falls off the building, never slows down a bit, hits the ground at terminal speed, and just disappears into shadow. Like there's a shadow on the ground and just it falls into that as if it's a hole, and then like warp and then blorps up into position. Whereas
Guys fall off a building, splats and goes everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a big and then
no, that's a very good argument.
So that's why I think Guys is more blorpy.
But you know who's blorpier than both of them?
Who?
Sagaiadath.
Sagaiadath. I don't think Sagaiadath is blorpy. I don't think tentacles are blorpy. I think that there is a solid form.
Right, but because the form. This is the thing is, I don't think that Sagaiadath is defined enough. Yeah, you get the vague hint of tentacles, but then sometimes they're not there. And there's like, I think Sagaiadath is.
I would not say that's blorpy though. Like I would not describe that as blorpy.
Okay.
I would not describe Nixius as blorpy at all.
This is why I said Nixius is the lowest on the list. Yeah. I think that Nixius does some blorps, but I think that they're like ancillary blorps.
Yeah, I think you have to be some sort of non-Newtonian fluid to blorp.
Yeah, guys, you've convinced me that Guys is the blorpiest on this list, and you've also convinced me that Argentium should replace Nixius in the running. But I feel like there's space for far blorpier. Guys spends too much time in solid form.
Yes, you need someone.
Calypso.
The blorpiest character I could think of in anything is the things from the Herculoids that are just like little blobs.
The what? What do you speak?
Herculoids blobs.
My addled friends.
This is the character design. I will show you here. This is the character design. And it blorps all the time. And like it is just amorphous.
Sure. That looks... Character design is such a strong word to describe what you've sent me.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a peep. That's just a peep.
Yeah. It is a squished circle.
Yeah. I think that slime-based creatures, like a gelatinous cube, or other slime-based monsters, are far blorpier than Guys or Writhe because they don't take. And if they do take a humanoid form, which some slime monsters can, even when they take a humanoid form, they continue to blorp while doing so. Yeah, and they also are will conform to what container they're in without trying. Right. I think that cats, the regular house cat, is more blorpy than Nixius. Potentially. Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. As mentioned, probably the most important letter of the day. It's very important. Thank you. It was. Everybody, thank you so much once again for listening to our silly, silly show. Thanks, as always, to our patrons. We could not do this show without you. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/theletters-page and join us and support us and tell us that we're cool. Adam, next week, did you know that we're going to do an episode about the Prime Wardens versus the Court of Blood? Neat.
How unseasonable.
Well,
we usually don't get vampire stuff outside of October and November, but
it's okay because we'll just have the Prime Wardens of the Court of Blood. It's still February, so we'll make them smooch.
Make them smooch. That's
shoot! No, that episode comes out in March, doesn't it?
March 4th.
That episode comes out in March.
You're not allowed to have love outside of February.
They can't smooch.
Yeah.
You hear it here, folks. You could have all had Prime Wardens and the Court of Blood smooching, but instead, nope. It's going to be combat.
Yep. Then you have chosen death.
Bye. The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
and illustrated by me, Adam Repetaro. We are also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games.
The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
To you, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let them read them at you. Let them read them at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam.
Sentinel Comics, Letters Page, Raw Audio, making a new folder called Episode 310, Scions of Obliv. No, I'm just going to call it New Scions. Episode 310, New Scions. New Scions. There we go. It's a better folder.
Scions.
Okay. Scions and Portents.